Hey, welcome back. I have a new idea for a new thing to make today. So, here's the problem. I have had this little phone stand thing kind of attached to this pipe. Now, right next to it, right here on the desk, I have a little charging disc. I think the only thing that makes sense to do here is to somehow combine these two together. So this year for Christmas, I got a new phone charger. And no, this is not the new phone charger. The new one is on my nightstand. This is the old one. Now, obviously this is a magnetic chargy thing, and I can slap my phone on there, and you can see it just hangs there. This, to me, is perfect. If I can somehow get this attached to this, well then now we've got something that I like. Obviously the first thing to do here is to disassemble this. Let's give it a shot. All right, let's take this thing apart. There's this little port right here. It's like a little rubbery piece. I'm gonna try to pull that back. Hopefully there's just some screws behind it. That would be excellent. Oh yeah, that is exactly what it is. There's screws back there. Well, it doesn't want to just pull apart. Oh, maybe it does. Oh, metal in there. Peel these off. More screws. There we go. Come on. Much better. A lot more electronics in this than I thought. I need to disassemble more. All right. It's the next day, and I've decided how I'm gonna handle this. I've had a little bit of a think. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to remove this logic board, and I'm just gonna cut the lines for the other two charging things here. Then I'll be able to have this charger, which is the one I want, and the logic necessary to make it all work. It's way more complicated than I expected it to be, and I'm gonna have to go look up how all that works. By the way, why is it that every time you're taking something apart that's plastic, there's always the simple moments where you just remove screws, and then there's also the very stressful moments where you are literally prying at the thing with a screwdriver? Okay, so there's those ones. Oh, this stuff is thick. There we go. Is the stuff I wanted to keep. Very good. So now I've got the charging circle, and I've got the logic here, and then I think the last thing I want to do is make sure this actually still works now that I've ripped it apart. Yeah, very good. Still charges. Okay, that's really all I needed to know. Now I can work on designing what this is going to look like when it's mounted. So let's just take a quick trip over there for that. Like this, right? That should just be right there. I'm gonna go ahead and think about this a little bit more, and I'll do a little bit of measuring and designing and see what I come up with. This is gonna be mounted right here, and then the whole thing is gonna be like, I'm gonna make 3D print like a box that essentially encloses all of this and just makes it look like a piece that mounts to a pole. I just want to maintain this hinge here. Like, I don't want to have to recreate that. That sounds terrible. If it's like the other ones, there's a little plastic piece here. I should be able to take this off, and then or a little rubber piece, and I'll be able to take it off, and there's going to be screws behind it, hopefully. Oh, yes, now I can remove this piece of metal. I was hoping that was going to be the case and I didn't have to cut it or something stupid. There we go. That is much better. This is essentially the assembly I'm looking for. As a matter of fact, I'll probably cut this right here. I think now it's time to do some modeling. All right, so I'm about 2 hours into this design, and I haven't even started modeling the actual enclosure that I'm trying to make. I think it's super important to make really good reference materials in your design. I just learned this over time, that if you just dive in, you take measurements, and then you just kind of just start winging it, you're going to end up with challenging things. You're gonna end up making something that's not quite right. So start with modeling the things that you need to build around in the real world. So on the screen here, I have what I've done so far. And I think it looks pretty cool, to be honest with you. It's kind of amazing when you put this all together and you can see, like, to scale, real life, what it looks like, right? So I've got the arm, and I've got the magnet, and I've got a model of my phone, and I've got the actual, like, stand, right? So here it is on the screen. Here's what it looks like. And this will be like from the angle from where I'm sitting is just about like that. And let me flip this around and I'll show you. From this angle, pretty close, right? Well, there's one more thing I still have to do here on this reference. I need to model the circuit board and its various mounting holes and put that relative to this arm here. And then I can start to build the enclosure that will go around this. So that's my check-in for now. This is day 2 of this. You saw the original disassembly on day 1 and then more disassembly on day 2. And now this design's been a couple hours, just to give you an idea on how long this sort of thing actually takes. All right, that's the end of day 3, and I think I'm ready to send this off to the printer. This took a lot longer than I expected. Modeling the electronics and all of the reference material to get it exactly right so I can make the box to fit exactly right. At least I hope so. I haven't printed it yet, I really don't know, but I'm hoping that all the work into the reference is going to make it so when I print this, it matches up. And I don't usually shoot to do something right on the very first try, but I'm kind of hopeful that it might happen this time. So let's take a look. I'll show you what I've done. Here's the whole thing all together with all the reference material and everything. First things first, this is actually going to be 4 parts. Top of the case, bottom of the case, and then the mounting ring. And the mounting ring is split into 2 because it's going to be easier to print if it's 2 pieces of a square, and I can just print them on their backs. Take that off, you can see here that the screws will go in here and they will attach to this. All right, now next let me just show you the inside of the actual box itself. It's essentially negatively molded around the circuit board, which if I put the circuit board in there, you'll see what I mean. It just kind of plops in there. I have some offsets here to make it so it sits down on these rings, and then I have some hollow holes here, and these are for threaded inserts. So we'll put threaded inserts in here, and then we'll be able to screw the board down to this. The charger slots into this hole here, and then I have a couple screws that run all the way through the entire charger handle and the box and attach it, and then a little bit of recess here for the USB-C port at the bottom. Whew, okay, so I'm gonna send this off. I'm gonna get it on the printer. We're gonna print it in PLA. Anyway, that's too much babbling. Let me send it off to the printer here, and then we'll see what happens. All right, in the last video I forgot to turn on the camera to get this, but let's see how this worked out. What are my chances? Getting this right on the first shot. Okay, so first things first. Does the board fit? Maybe I didn't give myself enough clearance here. Let's check everything else. There's no reason to just dive in and throw this thing away. Does this fit? Do these go together? Yes, they go together very nicely. Do these go together? Yeah, it looks like these should all go together pretty easily. Missed it by that much. It's these. It's right here, these cords. I didn't leave enough space for those coils. Push this edge down a little bit. Not even that much. Iteration number 2. I'm just going to give this a little push here and then print this piece over again. I think that's all I need to do. All right, third time's a charm. This one works. Let me see if I can slap this in here. It's kind of a rock right now, but look at that. So now, what are the last steps? I have to cut this arm down. Well, this arm down needs to be shorter so this can slide in further. I need to drill some holes through this arm so I can attach it. I need to add the captive nuts. They're tight fit. I have to squeeze them in there. And then I have to add the heated threaded inserts to all the places that they need to be put so I can assemble it all together.
Thanks for stopping by and watching this video all the way to the end. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing and hit the like button below. Seeing you probably won't be making this exact charger, it doesn't make sense for me to share the 3D models, but I will add links in the description for all the tools and other products I use while making this gizmo. Have a good rest of your day, and until next time, I hope I helped you learn faster.